You awaken the Drunken Sword Immortal System, getting stronger with every drink, but you freaking transmigrated into a sect that forbids alcohol, and they even stipulated that you can't go down the mountain without a mission, finally seizing an opportunity to go down for supplies. You, kid, got completely wasted. As a result, when you returned to the sect, you ended up in your senior sister's bed, and then, you freaking slashed the Sword Feather Peak Master of the Great Ascension stage with a single sword, at the Sword Inquiry Assembly. Kid, in your drunken stupor, the sword intent of the God of Wine exploded. The sharp sword intent tore through the air, seeming like it would cleave the heavens and earth in two. You looked up at the mountain suppression palm descending from the sky, and your mouth curled into a smirk. This sword of mine, the Great River Sword. As soon as the words left your mouth, the sword intent erupted like a volcano. You held a wine jar in one hand, and pointed directly at the mountain suppression palm with the other. The mountain suppression palm, 10 times your size, collided with your white-clad figure with a thunderous crash. Instantly, the ground trembled, and killing intent surged to the sky. The azure steel rock formation of this arena could withstand the full force of a Great Ascension 7th stage expert. The next second, Lin Chu's figure flew backward like a kite with a broken string, spitting out a mouthful of blood midair. Exclamations of shock rose up. Everyone was so stunned that they couldn't speak. Even the 4 immortal emperors on the mountain peaks couldn't help but look down. Lin Chu's face was ashen. She struggled to get up, her eyes filled with fear and disbelief. You freaking are just a Foundation establishment cultivator. When the dust settled, your figure emerged, your boundless sword intent like 1,000 swords protecting you. So what if it's just Foundation establishment? It's just a deceptive title. From the mountain suppression palm's appearance to being pierced by your sword, it was just a blink of an eye. A Foundation establishment stage cultivator crossing 4 major realms, instantly killing a 7th stage expert at the out-of-sheath stage. And she's the prodigy of the mountain and river sect. This isn't just unbelievable anymore. It's freaking shattered everyone's understanding. Sword intent crossing tribulation. Finally, the immortal Emperor of Great Unity gave the answer. His sword intent has already reached the tribulation transcending stage. What's even more terrifying is that his sword intent can actually unleash greater attack power than Lin Chu. Although he is at the Foundation establishment stage, his strength far exceeds that of Foundation establishment. The entire 9 Swords Mountain went silent in an instant. While shocked, the immortal Emperor of Great Unity turned to look at Leng Yeching. As the entire venue fell silent, a long-awaited system notification echoed in your mind. Congratulations to the host for savoring the 500-year-old Jade Blossom Dew, unlocking the sword intent of the God of Wine. Congratulations to the host for having 3 hangovers, comprehending the sword God sword intent. Mastering the ultimate techniques of 1 sword opens the heavenly gate and 1 sword makes the immortal meal. 1 sword makes the immortal meal and 1 sword opens the heavenly gate can be propelled by the sword intent of the God of Wine. Beyond the sword intent, it can even slay immortal emperors at their peak. You couldn't hear the system notifications anymore. You, kid, were completely drunk. Good wine. It's really good wine. As expected, you lost control, kid, and fell into the frenzied state of the Drunken Sword Immortal. Amid countless shocked gazes, you raised your head and drank wildly, your whole body tilted at a 45-degree angle. Yet you still didn't fall. With the awakening of the sword God sword intent, in that instant, you felt the sword energy in your body become extremely violent. The sword energy instantly filled all your meridians, making your spiritual power even more powerful. You, kid, suddenly looked up to the sky and laughed wildly. Let's enjoy a cup of wine before we die. Why bother seeking 1,000 years of fame? What did Jade Blossom do? Good wine, good wine. With a buzzing sound, tens of thousands of sharp sword rays appeared within 100 meters around you. Your eyes were blurred with drunkenness, as if you had fallen into a dream again. Your figure swayed, and you murmured, "The sword opens the heavenly gate, for the living, the dead, for the immortals to kneel." The people around the arena looked at each other, and someone couldn't help but speak, just as everyone's minds were racing. You, kid, suddenly let out a drunken burp. Everyone was stunned, and subconsciously turned their gaze to you. Then their eyes widened. The ancient sword path rings like daylight. The momentum remains like Mount Kunlun. Your face was flushed. Your sword pointed to the sky. Your eyes closed, and you said with a silly smile, "Behold my sword." Opening the heavenly gate, a tremor came, and 10,000 sword shadows soared into the sky. On the arena, the defense light screen that 8 Wind Masters jointly condensed shattered under the powerful sword intent. The 8 Wind Masters groaned, their faces pale. What a freaking powerful sword intent. Along with your drunkenness, thunder echoed in the air. The white clouds stretching for dozens of miles were cleaved in two by a sword energy that pierced the sky. Sunlight shone down, covering the entire 9 Swords Mountain. The sunlight and the sword intent complementing each other. It was a giant sword that reached the sky and the earth, so large that it was indescribable. The phenomenon in the sky almost instantly infected everyone, and the 5 immortal emperors' minds were shaken. Your, kid, supreme sword intent, along with your unrestrained and uninhibited aura, almost instantly infected everyone. Even Leng Yeching on the mountain peak, as well as the 8 Wind Masters of 9 Swords Mountain, were stimulated by this supreme sword intent. The blood in their bodies uncontrollably accelerated. and goosebumps rose all over their bodies. Just when everyone was immersed in your aura, an icy voice came from the edge of the arena. "Bastard, you dare to cripple my junior sister. Stop pretending to be crazy," the mountain and river sect's Lin Jie challenged, holding the unconscious Lin Chu. At this time, his eyes were bloodshot. The sudden change pulled everyone back to reality. The phenomenon in the sky disappeared, but Immortal Emperor Su Qi's face was changing. It was not appropriate for Lin Jie to attack at this time. Immortal Emperor Su Qi wanted to remind Lin Jie, but it was too late. With a low and explosive roar, Lin Jie's figure appeared above the arena, and behind him, a huge mountain peak floated out of thin air. This object was the mountain and river sect's source treasure when Su Qi's ancestors established the sect, the mountain and river seal. The mountain and river seal brought powerful pressure, causing all cultivators below the tribulation transcending stage to tremble uncontrollably. With the blessing of the Immortal Emperor level treasure, even if Lin Jie was only at the out-of-sheath stage, he could exert the power of the Great Ascension or even the tribulation transcending stage. Immortal Emperor Su Qi actually gave the sect's treasure to Lin Jie. This is so freaking unfair. Unless you also have an Immortal Emperor level treasure, you are bound to lose. "Kid, give me your life." Lin Jie's body was flashing with spiritual power, and behind him, the mountain and river seal suddenly erupted with a strong cyan light, turbulent and surging. The huge mountain peak grew wildly against the wind, turning into a 100-meter-tall green mountain. The air around the entire arena was distorted. Those who were not at the tribulation transcending stage could not move at all at this moment. "You, kid," raised your head and took another gulp of jade blossom dew, squinting your drunken eyes and looking up at the sky, just in time to see the huge mountain that blotted out the sky. Faced with the pressure of the mountain and river seal, your great river sword intent erupted out of your body. You pointed one finger at the sky, and with a long howl, you shouted, "Let's enjoy the wine today. Let the great river sword descend from the heavens." Amid countless horrified and shocked gazes, the great river sword intent burst out, soaring up to 90,000 miles. The Empress, Luo Shui, who was on good terms with Nine Swords Mountain, anxiously asked, "How did his sword intent change again, senior sister? Aren't you going to learn from it?" Ling Yiqing also went into a daze. This emperor is also seeing the complete version of the Great River Sword for the first time. How powerful is it? You didn't give them a chance to think at all. The sword energy traversed the mountains and rivers, shooting out tens of thousands of swords, like a roaring great river rushing without turning back. Lin Jie, who had become murderous, frantically controlled the mountain and river seal, crashing through the great river of sword energy. But when he was a foot away from you, the mountain and river seal seemed to crash into an invisible barrier, and was directly blown away in a resounding crash. While the mountain and river seal was exploding away, Lin Jie tried his best to unleash the second combat skill of the mountain and river seal. A monstrous water column instantly crashed towards you, but your sword intent was even stronger. You blocked the water column with a wave of your hand. The river water column formed by spiritual power collided with the great river sword intent. Mist filled the air. Lin Jie cried out miserably, "River and lake seal, your river is ultimately not a real river." You looked up at the sky with drunken eyes, and another mouthful of fine wine entered your throat. Your aura was also changing. The Yellow River comes, where Mount Kunlun roars for 10,000 miles. The Dragon Gate Sword River. The sword intent that was scattered by the mountain and river seal gathered again behind you. The great river was like a turbulent torrent. It had the momentum to split the sky and crush the mountains and rivers. Thousands of people at the scene fell silent, including the 5 ancestral emperors on Sword Singing Peak. The spirit realm was completely flustered. An ancestral emperor-level magic treasure actually couldn't do anything to you. It couldn't even get close. The mountain and river seal swallowed mountains and rivers, along with Lin Jie's roar. His strongest attack erupted. The 100-meter mountain and river seal instantly extended to 1,000 meters. This was a desperate move. Under this state, even he couldn't control the mountain and river seal. Lin Jie had completely gone mad. Everything happened too fast. The 5 ancestral emperors didn't even have time to react. The 1,000-meter green mountain crashed down with the power of the rivers and lakes. Ling Yiqing prepared to intervene. On the arena, sword energy surged. The river roared. The mountain groaned. Your eyes were filled with boundless sword intent. Sword intent limit. Feeling the change in your sword intent, Ling Yiqing gave the answer. This sword intent of the Great River Sword. It has probably reached the peak of the tribulation transcending stage. What's even more terrifying is that Changfeng's sword intent can actually unleash attacks equivalent to spiritual power. In other words, although he's currently at the foundation establishment stage, he can unleash the strength of a peak tribulation transcending stage. What a monster. The number 1 of 9 Swords Mountain. A 20-year-old peak tribulation transcending stage expert. A sword cultivator's sword intent can be invincible. It has even broken through the constraints of Ling Li. Ling Yiqing felt as if something had cracked in his heart. The other 4 ancestral emperors were also shocked. Sword intent transformed. It could actually unleash the artistic conception that only those at the peak of the tribulation transcending stage could grasp. At this time, your drunken laughter sounded. You tilted your head back and drank heartily. The sound of swallowing wine was like a dream. Good wine. Good wine. I want to draw my sword and soar to the clouds, to split the clouds and cut the moon as I please. Lin Jie's pupils contracted. He looked at you with disbelief. Spiritual sword energy flew through the air, merging into the boundless great river. The power of the rivers and lakes retreated as if avoiding a plague. The power of the rivers and lakes was invalidated. Lin Jie's heart sank. A feeling of fear shot straight to his head. Lin Jie reacted too late. Countless swords of the sword river rushed towards them, falling into the green mountain of the mountain and river seal. Under the shocked gaze of the 5 immortal emperors, wherever the great river sword went, the power of the rivers and lakes was torn apart. The cyan sky originally covered by the spiritual power of the mountain and river seal instantly turned into a two-tone white and cyan. Lin Jie realized the danger. He spared no effort to release spiritual power. The mountain and river seal went wild, reaching the limit that he could exert. Facing Lin Jie, who was making a desperate move, you were not moved at all. Instead, you laughed drunkenly. I, Qin Changshen, have only one sword that can move mountains and overturn seas. The broken river sword's edge turned into wind. The destructive power of the great river sword caused the space within 10,000 meters of the arena to produce fine cracks. Terrifying. In an instant, the monstrous great river surged again, like a great river formed by hundreds of millions of white sword lights, instantly replacing the cyan sky. The river and lake power released by Lin Jie was swallowed. The monstrous sword river surged towards the 1,000-meter mountain and river, swallowing it in an instant. On Sword Singing Peak, the 5 immortal emperors were so shocked that they couldn't speak. They even couldn't help swallowing their saliva. They could not accept this result. When did an immortal emperor-level magic treasure become so weak? It's not that the ancestral emperor-level magic treasure is too weak. It's that the great river sword is too strong. An unprecedented feeling of despair spread in Lin Jie's heart. The mountain and river seal couldn't hold on anymore. The green mountain was being sliced by 10,000 swords, covered in cracks. If this continued, the mountain and river seal would be damaged. Lin Jie was desperate. The sword intent was coming. The huge waves roared. 10,000 sword shadows shattered the power of the rivers and lakes. The power of the collapsing green mountain directly pressed all of Lin Jie's pride to the ground, crushing him madly. Suddenly, a loud noise. The mountain and river seal shattered. This battle has been won. Immortal Emperor Su Qi could no longer hold back. Immortal Emperor's pressure erupted. With a wave of his hand, a powerful spiritual force shot at the arena, heading straight for you. Su Qi, how dare you? Lin Yiqing roared angrily. The next second, 8 figures around the arena simultaneously met the attack in the air. Su Qi, with a deafening crash, cultivators below the 7th stage of the Great Ascension all went blank, knocked unconscious. The 8 figures in mid-air were all smashed down at the same time. The Immortal Emperor's palm in the air only paused for a moment before smashing down again. Lin Yiqing was shocked. He knew that Su Qi was strong, but he didn't expect him to be this strong. What shocked him was that the direction his palm was falling was not only where Lin Jie was, but also where Yu and Lu Yuyan were. Su Qi not only didn't follow the rules, but he was also dark-hearted. He wanted to kill all the prodigies of Nine Swords Mountain, to eliminate future troubles. What a ruthless person. It was too late to stop him. And at this time, the drunken Yu watched as the people around you fell unconscious one by one, while feeling the boundless murderous intent. The sword sang in your body. The sword intent around you changed. After the small one, the old one came. You let out a drunken burp in a daze. The great river sword intent disappeared, replaced by the peach blossom sword god sword intent, dual sword intent, once again detonating the crowd. But the immortal emperor's palm still fell. You want to kill me? At the critical moment, you comprehended the peach blossom flash, wielding the peach blossom sword god. The sword was about to erupt. Supreme sword path, soaring to the sky, pointing to the sky and questioning with your sword. The mountains and rivers are boundless, sweeping across the world. Once the dragon is angered, the wind and clouds rise. Throughout the ages, calamities cannot destroy. The 3-foot divine blade, who is stained with blood. Come, sword. Under the horrified gazes of many experts, you tilted your head back and drank the jade blossom dew again. While swaying, 6 rays of light flashed on your body. The black armor, childhood sweetheart, morning dew, spring water, peach blossom. 6 flying swords flew out together. The flying swords were like meteors, piercing the sky. The sword's momentum was like a swimming dragon. Seeing the 6 swords soaring into the sky, Su Qi's roar became even louder. The momentum of the mountain suppression palm did not allow him to retreat. It truly carried the power of the Green Mountains, and crashed down without hesitation. Then, a loud crash. The air of the entire Nine Swords Mountain was distorted, as if it was a heavenly punishment. Nine Swords Mountain trembled violently. The air was shattered like glass. Blood mist drifted. Immortal Emperor Su Qi spat out blood. The 6 flying swords flew straight to the sky. What a strong sword intent. On Sword Singing Peak, Lin Yiqing, who was preparing to attack, turned to stone, staring blankly at the swaying, drunken figure. He couldn't help swallowing his saliva. Immortal Emperor's Tai, Yi Chen, and Luo Shui were also like this. Their gazes were all fixed on Leng Yiqing. The immortal emperors were stunned. Equally shocked was Su Qi himself. That sword not only forcefully severed his immortal emperor domain, but it also severely injured his internal organs. Su Qi's mountain suppression palm relied on the power of the mountains and rivers, creating the invincible aura of the mountain and river sect. But your sword seemed even stronger. Strong to the point of being almost eternal. Impossible. Su Qi was still Su Qi. How could he give up so easily? Ancestral emperor of nothingness. You ants. How dare you turn against the heavens? Mountains and rivers are endless. The power of Su Qi's body was raging. Nine Swords Mountain, you are bullying me too much. Today, I will settle the old and new scores together. Come and die. Su Qi was almost crazy. The mountain and river seal reappeared. The 10,000-meter green mountain had an intimidating aura. The auras of the experts below were suppressed. How laughable. You are drunk alone in the sky. Your clothes are trembling. It was clearly your mountain and river sect that was being aggressive. How dare you accuse Nine Swords Mountain of being too much? Hunt down the prodigies of Nine Swords Mountain. Since you say it's old and new grudges, then we will settle it all together. As the green mountain smashed down, Leng Yiqing and the others had a chance to strike. Yi Chen and Immortal Emperor Luo Shui were also planning to make a move. At present, in Nine Swords Mountain, there were only 3 people who could block Su Qi's attack. Empress Leng Yiqing, Immortal Emperor of Great Unity. Luo Shui, Immortal Emperor of the Joyous Harmony sect. Although Luo Shui's strength had not reached the peak of the Immortal Emperor stage, she was not weaker than the Immortal Emperor of Great Unity. Even if Leng Yiqing could block Su Qi, she couldn't block the second time. This child was able to unleash Ancestral Emperor level strength with Foundation Establishment cultivation. He was someone that Immortal Emperor Su Qi had to kill. Otherwise, there would be endless trouble in the future. At this moment, they all felt a palpitation. Their gazes focused on you again. The sword intent had changed again, especially Leng Yiqing, who was also a sword cultivator. She stared intently. No one understood the sword path and sword intent better than her. You were clearly still in the same place. Yet, you gave people the illusion of dancing with a sword. Each move had dozens of variations. The deductions were extremely complex. But what made Leng Yiqing's heart palpitate was that these sword moves in the sky all seemed like just one move. He also only had one move. Could this be the peak of the sword path? Unconsciously, it felt like something in Leng Yiqing's heart shattered. That was the shackle that had confined him for many years. Leng Yiqing's eyes lit up. That's it. That's the artistic conception of carrying a 3-foot sword. To pacify the 4 seas, you didn't let Leng Yiqing down. You moved, facing the green mountain descending from the sky. You poured the jade blossom dew into your mouth. The white shirt on your chest was soaked with wine without you realizing it. The next second, you pointed your finger at the heavens. Enchanted. Let's enjoy the wine today. Get drunk 1,000 times. Only I am the Drunken Sword Immortal. Ame. Vermilion bird. Bronze pipa. Golden silk armor. 12 swords were released together. The strongest attack of the peach blossom sword god. The sword array and halberds. In that instant, the 12 flying swords carried the power of the stars. The power of thunder. Soaring straight into the sky. In front of Sword Singing Peak, all the experts widened their eyes in shock, staring at the 12 flying swords rising in the sky. Their hearts were filled with extreme shock. The 12 flying swords collided with the green mountain. Everyone witnessed what was meant by a mountain collapsing and the earth splitting.